Welcome to This Week in East Brunswick. Today we honor the fallen men and women of our armed forces with the annual J.B. Hunt Wreaths Across America ceremony, as the company delivers thousands of wreaths to be placed on graves at national cemeteries across the country. We drop in on the East Brunswick Public Library's Hour of Code event, where members of the East Brunswick High School Code Club helped run the annual event, promoting computer programming and coding. We stay at the library, where the Lost Souls Memorial Project held a program to remember nearly 200 victims of a vicious slave trade ring that was operated by a corrupt judge that lived in East Brunswick during the early 1800s. And we have information about an upcoming event at the Unitarian Society. All this, plus we get ready for the holiday season, as the annual Holiday of Lights event was held at the Municipal Complex to light the township menorah and Christmas tree with a special visitor from the North Pole. So stay with us. This Week in East Brunswick starts now.
We'd like to welcome everyone here today for our Wreaths Across America Driver Key Exchange ceremony. We are very grateful and honored to have so many distinguished members of our community in attendance, along with so many veterans of the military here with us today. Let me take a moment to introduce a couple of our esteemed guests. Mayor of East Brunswick, Dr. Brad Cohen. East Brunswick Business Administrator, Joe Crisiolo. East Brunswick Chief of Police, James Conroy. East Brunswick Police Captain, James Alves. Officers from the East Brunswick Police Department, members of the East Brunswick Independent Fire Company, the New Jersey State Police, President of the New Jersey State PBA, Patrick Colligan, Churchill Junior High Principal, Vice Principal, teachers, and students. Also the Girl Scouts. Today we will honor all veterans and are privileged to have the following here with us today. The Gold Star family, Mr. and Mrs. Koch, will not be able to make our program today. Representing their son, Army Corporal Stephen Koch. Tommy Kuhill, members of the VFW Post 133, Ron Dixon, and members of the American Legion Post 25. Chaplain Henry Hank Merritt, Post 960. Holly Hill, President of Pennsylvania American Legion Riders. Carl Trinko, Sergeant of Arms of the Pennsylvania American Legion Riders. Barbara Merritt, Secretary of Post 960, American Legion Riders. John Levitt, Past Road Captain, Post 960. We are proud to have with us current active service member and women of the Navy, the Army, and the Air Force.
As most of you know, last week we laid to rest a great American, 41st President George Herbert Walker Bush. And while he may be remembered for a lot of things, while you may or may not agree with his politics, what he did and what we all can agree upon was that he was a great American, and one of the things that he stood for was for volunteerism across the country. That was the basis behind his 1,000 points of light. In the idea that if each one of us can contribute to this country, whether it be through an act of kindness or donating your time, that it would illuminate the world. That was the concept. And so as I look out here at the audience today, seeing a lot of kids who represent our youth, it's enlightening and encouraging to recognize that the future is in good hands. Because the one thing that we cannot do online, we can actually teach college and courses today online. Most of the time, you could probably sit at home and learn most of your coursework. But what you cannot do from home is civics. that you have to do in person. You have to give of yourself. And as a result, this is the type of country that we believe in, and that was the beliefs that he stood for. We're here today to honor people who not only did exactly that, but paid the ultimate price. And for that, they will be eternally honored and remembered at this great season that we're approaching of hope. If you look on the picture of that truck right here, those graves do not denote which Americans were Democrats or Republicans. They don't denote what sex or denomination of faith that they belong to. They all look the same, and that's because what they were great Americans who gave for this country. And it didn't matter what their background was for. They stood for the same ideals. And so I applaud those of you here today. I applaud J.B. Hunt for recognizing that as we approach this great season, that we cannot leave behind the memories of those of us who paid the ultimate price for us to be able to enjoy these days. So thank you very much, and may you all have a blessed, wonderful holiday.
Reads Across America stresses 3 tenets: remember our fallen veterans, honor those who serve, and teach our children the value of freedom. We hope that our involvement with our students does all 3 of those things. When we lay the wreaths on Saturday, we will take a moment to think of the sacrifices of the men and women, say their names, and thank them for their service. It is a very moving and powerful day. Today, we'd like to thank our vets and families here for their service and sacrifice, and let them know it is not forgotten. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Although Mr. and Mrs. Koch cannot be here this morning, we'd like to honor them as our Gold Star family. Their son, Stephen Koch, grew up in East Brunswick. He went to Our Lady of Lourdes in Milltown. He graduated from East Brunswick High School and decided to join the Army after the 9/11 terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center in 2001. He enlisted in 2006. Stephen was deployed in Afghanistan in 2007. He was due to come home April 20th, 2008. On March 3rd, he became a casualty of war when a car bomb caused a wall to collapse on him in Sabari District, part of Khost Province in eastern Afghanistan. Stephen loved this country and made the ultimate sacrifice protecting her. So for the past few years, we've invited Mr. and Mrs. Koch to our ceremony to join us on this day when we honor our veterans, to make sure Stephen's name is said, to make sure his sacrifice, as well as the sacrifice of his whole family, is remembered and honored. Their dignity never goes unnoticed, and although we had no connection to Stephen, Mr. and Mrs. Koch, prior to our events, we respect them tremendously and want to make sure they understand how deeply grateful we are for the price that they paid. To do so, we've commissioned a bronze plaque to be placed at the base of our flagpole, dedicated in the memory of Corporal Stephen Koch. We hope this small act brings some sense of comfort to Stephen's family, to know that all who pass here will read his name beneath the flag he loved and know what he gave for all of us. Thank you.
I would like to call up Ron Dixon, please. Ron Dixon's going to be sure that the Koch family is aware of this. There's some illness there, and Ron is the commander of the Posted American Legion. Dedicated in memory of Army Corporal Stephen R. Koch, keeper of freedom, who made the ultimate sacrifice. Afghanistan, March 3, 2008. Thank you.
Crown thy good with The Hour of Code is this initiative by Code.org that began a few years ago, roughly around 2013. And what they tried to do was spread the awareness of computer science by teaching people how to code. So they did this like really interactively. They had on their website a way for people to like learn simple coding through like blocks. And we did that here in 2014. And eventually we got to the point where we said that we just don't want to teach people how to code. We want to teach them how to do everything related to computer science or multiple aspects. So to us, the Hour of Code is teaching people how to do a multitude of things. So like this year we have HTML and Java, but we also have events like Tool, or we have the FBI here to talk about cybersecurity. We have an entire team here teaching people how to keep your privacy safe on the internet. So Hour of Code has actually transformed into something much bigger than what Code.org intended it to be. So I can advocate for anyone running or coming to Hour of Code next year, but I think that next year we should aim for more people, because it's always better to have more people learn computer science. Because in the past, people that have come here have said that I want to be in the computer science sector one day, and we said, come to Hour of Code, learn the things that we're teaching you here, because they'll directly apply to what you might be doing in the future one day. So all I have to say to them is that explore Hour of Code and explore computer science.
For coming for our 5th year. It was very exciting. I'm really happy you guys all came, and I hope you had fun, and I hope you'll come back next year. And if you're interested in helping to run this event in the future, if you're at the high school, consider joining the Code Club. And the Code Club are the people that run this. They came up with all the events, so I really want to thank them for doing all the hard work tonight.
Today was the 200th anniversary celebration of the lost souls who were stolen away and enslaved by a corrupt judge, Van Wickle. They lived right here in East Brunswick, but they were sold south to Louisiana and Mississippi. And our attempt was to have people learn about that today and to realize that 200 years ago, nearly 200 people were stolen away.
At this event, it's a great opportunity for the public to learn about a horrific incident that involved people of African and Native descent who were from Bergen and Essex County, who were torn from their families, separated from their communities, lied to, kidnapped, stolen to fund greed that was based on the cotton in the sugar plantations in the South. I was here to represent the 177 lost souls who've now been found, as I am a direct descendant of some of them.
This is a great opportunity for us to come together as a community and recognize that all of the lessons of history are not necessarily good ones, that you can learn almost as much from what you made mistakes doing as you can from your successes. And so this is an opportunity for us to reflect. New Jersey as a state hasn't always made the right decisions. So we need a lot to learn from our history, and in a day and age today where it's ever more important that we recognize hate for what it is, we need to learn from our history. And so I thank everyone that was involved in this project, the Lost Souls Memorial Project, for bringing this very important lesson to the light and to history today, because I believe in my heart of hearts it's as irrelevant today as it was 200 years ago.
This project is a way of remembering the people from East Brunswick who in 1818 were some enslaved Africans, some free people, some who were children, who were essentially snatched up, held by a corrupt municipal judge of East Brunswick on his property, and then sold south to Louisiana. The horror of it is that some of those people, as I said, were free. There were children involved in this slave snatch ring. And the importance is that people seem to think about slavery in the United States as something that happened down south. There is a famous quote that says, the only down south there is down south from Canada.
So this event is an excellent opportunity to find out about how slavery was slavery, how it operated, who profited, who manufactured the goods that were sold in the South, that were produced in the North. So it's a great opportunity. It was a great opportunity to find out what the community's doing to remember these 177 and counting people. Though we don't know all of their names, though some had fake names, we do know that on the last slave ship out of Perth Amboy and South Amboy, the people there were originally from here, Middlesex County, and they had migrated up to Newark.
In this instance, we're talking about New Jersey being an epicenter of some of what is often called the second Middle Passage, which means that the African people who were enslaved were brought to this country, and then within this country there was another transportation that went on, in many cases illegal, because some of the people who were enslaved had actually managed to buy their freedom or were somehow made free. So to be enslaved again is not even comprehensible.
I hope that they will learn more about Judge Van Wickle. We have materials which we're willing to share, and also if people want to try to put on an event that names the people, and the African tradition has us learning the names of people who've gone before us. And so if you want to have a naming event or you want to have any other way to recognize the lost souls, we'd be happy to hear about it.
I would want for people to know that this kind of history is part of what has been lost. Some of it has been forgotten. Some of it has been unintentionally just misplaced. And then there is the other part, which is that some of it is intentionally known but not shared. And so what we're doing is trying to make sure that that doesn't happen any longer, that the stories of these people, right now we know of 177 of them from New Jersey who were sold south, that their stories are told, and that people who come to these events will leave with a better understanding of what this country's true history is. People think that this is black history, but black history is American history. And so part of this is to make sure that American history is told in its fullness, not just pieces and parts.
We're just in the beginning stages of getting memorial designs. We've got a couple now that we're looking at, but we really want people to partner with us, to connect to us, people who have ideas, artists, people who want to make sure that we don't forget the people who were here. So we're open to ideas and new partners to the project. I think that we got people to realize how close history is to us right here, and how even though things happened in 1818, a lot of the conditions are similar, and we really can't lose what's happened in history. The past is really never past until you deal with it inclusively.
There is power in the name of Jesus. There is power in the name of Jesus. There is power in the name of Jesus to break every chain, break every chain, break every chain. Woo! To break every chain, break every chain.
Most people want to intervene when something mean is happening, but we don't always know what to do. It could be a racist or anti-Semitic joke, someone being harassed for speaking something other than English, a woman being catcalled. If you want to learn how to interrupt that kind of behavior and be an ally for somebody who's being bullied, I hope you will come on Monday, January 21st. That's the Dr. Martin Luther King holiday, to a day of learning how to be an upstander rather than a bystander. You can come just for the morning or just for the afternoon, or you can come for the whole day. It's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We're providing a delicious lunch. It's open to the public, and it's being held at the Unitarian Society at 176 Tisus Lane in East Brunswick. Presentations are being made by Meta Theater Company at 10 a.m. and at 1 p.m. martial arts teacher Elena Waldman will be there. We're offering a free lunch of chili and cornbread, both vegetarian and vegan options, and it's a way to grow community and connection. This event is appropriate for adults, for middle schoolers and high schoolers. And while it's free, we are accepting donations to help us cover the costs. Space is limited, so please reserve your free ticket at our Eventbrite page. You can look for us MLK at TUS. Bring a friend, and I hope to see you there.
So on this holiday season, as we finish celebrating Thanksgiving, on this first night of Hanukkah, and as we light our magnificent Christmas tree, can we all make for me one promise, that each day, each one of us performs one act of kindness. If someone is struggling, don't pass by, offer a helping hand. If you are blessed with plenty, donate to those who may suffer silently without. Instead of criticism, offer praise. Instead of pointing out somebody's mistakes, celebrate their successes. If somebody is constantly mean on Facebook, unfriend them. Remember, you do not make yourself look good by making other people look bad. And let us resolve to restore a sense of civility in a world as we enter this timeless season of hope.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I just want to say happy holidays to everybody. It's so great to see so many people coming out for this event, and people from all different backgrounds. So it's great to have everybody here. One thing I did read in the paper this week was the Aldersgate Food Pantry, and just talking about all of the great things, and it's right nearby, so it's one way that we can each just drop something off or go in and do a little work there and help out. It's a great thing that we have that benefits everybody in our community. So best wishes and happy holidays.
It's so heartwarming to see so many people here tonight coming out for our tree lighting and our menorah lighting. Truly shows the community that we have, and it's so nice to see everybody. Thank you all for coming.
We ready? Yeah. Let's start. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. It doesn't show signs of stopping, and I brought some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. The fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. The fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof. Her beauty in the moonlight overthrew ya. She tied you to her kitchen chair. She broke your throat and she cut your hair. And from your lips she drew the hallelujah.